Hello and welcome back to another Magic Sven video. Yeah, today doing something a little bit different. I've been running a lot of cubes recently, so I figured I'd do a little constructed instead. Historic Horizons Jumpstart just came out, and we've got some nice new cards that came out with it. But we're not going to be playing the nice new cards. We're going to be playing Putrid Goblin. Now, with all these good new cards in standard, in historic format rather, you'd think I could find something better to do, but instead I'm running a goblin combo deck. And let me say, this deck, I've played it a bit. It's not that great, but I think it's really fun when it goes off, and people don't really see it coming. So, going over the combo real quick, the main interaction is Grumgully the Generous with Putrid Goblin. So, Putrid Goblin has Persist and is a Goblin, which is his main best quality. So whenever Putrid Goblin dies, since it has Persist, it comes back with a -1/-1 counter. Now, Grumgully says any non-human, including goblins, that enters the battlefield, they come with an additional +1/+1 counter. So, every time Putrid Goblin dies, it comes back with its -1/-1, but gets the +1/+1 from Grumgully, and that means it evens out. Both counters are removed, and we're back to a 2/2 regular old Putrid Goblin. And so what does that really mean? Now, anytime these two are on the battlefield and we've got a sack outlet, we can sack Putrid Goblin as many times as we want to that sack outlet. Now, the best and most common way to win is to sack it to Skirk Prospector, and that gets us infinite red mana. Infinite red mana lets us use something like Goblin Matron, which we can either fetch up a Battlecry Goblin and pump infinite mana into this guy, go wide, and smack our opponent. Or we can use Goblin Matron to get a Siege Gang Commander, get infinite mana, and then eventually just sack our Putrid Goblin over and over and over and over again to deal damage to face. This is better one to get when there's something on the battlefield that we need to get rid of before we can just win. It takes a little bit longer than Battlecry Goblin, so that's why I usually go for a Battlecry Goblin. The other thing we can sack to is a Siege Gang Lieutenant. So if we don't have infinite mana with Skirk Prospector, we can just fetch up Siege Gang Lieutenant, sack the Putrid Goblin, do 1 to opponent, gain 1, and just do that 20 times to finish out the game. Rest of the deck, not too complicated. I put 1 Muxus in here to tutor up. Siege Gang is our win condition. Collected Company is a very nice addition to the deck. It lets us find either of our combo pieces or all of our combo pieces. Conspicuous Snoop gives us a lot of reach, lets us go through the deck and find what we need. Wily Goblin helps with some mana ramp. Dark Dweller I'm just trying out right now. With Prospector and Putrid Goblin comboing, getting infinite mana, you can go through the whole entire deck with this card. I'll see if there's a spot for this, but I'm kind of suspecting it's not really going to do the job, but we'll try it out. Uh, Battlecry Goblin is the quickest way to go off, and that's about the deck. We'll run it through some games and see how we end up. Thanks for watching. And we're back for round 1. This hand is a little suspect, but it's got just enough stuff that I think I'm going to keep it. The combination of Skirk Prospector plus Putrid Goblin should get us pretty close to comboing off. Hopefully we'll draw our third piece at some point. Collected Company is a nice way to get to this, so we're going to keep. Playing against an Obosh deck, I feel like this deck probably has a pretty bad matchup against red, if that is indeed what we're playing. So we'll start with our Skirk Prospector, pass the turn. Does look like we're against mono red. And there's the Bomat Courier. They'll attack, they'll get their card under it. Don't mind that too much. I'd rather have them lead with a Bomat Courier than something that can deal a lot more damage. So we drew the Wily Goblin, and I'm just going to play that instead of the Putrid Goblin, even though it blocks better. If we get to Collected Company next turn, that's pretty good for us. And we'll see if our opponent actually lets us do that. I kind of expect them not to attack. unless they're gonna start zapping our 1/1s. Okay, looks like they are attacking. How do I feel about blocking Beaumont Courier here? I don't think I want to. Just because it'll be nice to sack Goblin to Prospector if I need to do a collected company. And we're just going to let them keep going on the board here. So it looks like they're this hyper-aggressive mono-red deck. Here, I don't think there's a reason to play anything during my turn. I'd rather just Coco off at some point, see what they play at the end of their turn. Hopefully just go off. Fanatical Firebrand resolves. Probably going to try and kill our Skirk Prospector. If they go for Wily Goblin, I don't mind that too much. Okay, there's a Soul Scarred Mage. Oh, and they're just attacking me. Okay. It's somewhat unfortunate about the Soul Scar Mage, because that actually stops our Putrid Goblin combo. If they deal damage in the form of -1/-1 counters, then we're not going to be too happy about that. Let's pass. Let's put one blocker here. See if they decide to do anything. Barge in. I'm going to let this first one resolved. Target creature gives them +2/+2. Okay, so they are going to hit us for a good amount of damage. We're going to sacrifice this goblin. And with that floating red and the treasure green mana, we're going to get... oh, this is perfect. Get our collected company off. So they are going to hit us for a good 6 damage here. But we do have infinite mana. Unfortunately, we don't have a way to just win as of now, but we'll see if we figure something out. The conspicuous snoops go a long way towards that. So, see what we have on top. We're looking for a Matron or a Sling Gang. Fortunately, that is not it. So I'm just going to play my second Snoop. See what they think about that. I'm not particularly stoked about playing my other combo pieces. Just because there's a pretty decent chance they try and make me sack them. Grumgully's definitely the one they want to pick off here. And it looks like they're going to do it. And this is fine. Lava Runner is a-okay by me. And the good news is they don't really have attacks. Another land on top is pretty sad. We're not going to attack. That was an accidental bump of my space bar. This is difficult. it doesn't seem like they've got any more damage. So I'm going to run out the second Putrid Goblin past the turn. At this point, we're looking for some good stuff to win this one. It's going to be hard. Them sending in everything's pretty big red flags. And looks like that's not what they're going to do. I assume the courier's coming in because they're going to sack it. So we'll put that there. That there. I don't think I do want to do that double block. That feels like it's a recipe for trouble. I think I should just soak up as much damage as I can. So let's say it's those 3 blockers. See what they do with this. Still pretty likely that they just... yeah, there's the pump spell. Not surprised to see that. There's the courier sack. Now they've got a fresh new grip of cards. We're hoping it's about, 4 mountains. They may use some burn to try and finish off the rest of our snoops. That seems like it's likely to happen. Well, they're just going face, which makes sense too. Land and maybe just shock us? Yep. And they got it. Yeah, not too surprising. This is a difficult matchup, I would say. Just too fast out the gate and too many ways to disrupt what we're doing. Doesn't feel like it's a good one. Alright, let's go back for another round here. Got an okay hand. Could use another piece of mana, but the Wily Goblin helps a lot. We do have Muxus in hand, so that might give us a little something more to do than usual, so we're going to try this one. Opponent is mulliganing several times, so that probably means they're on Tybalt's Trickery. Thinking about keeping this one. I'm going to put in my 2 cents on Tybalt's Trickery real quick. I think it's real bad for the format. I think this is one of the least fun decks that they could have inserted in here. Unfortunate, because it's kind of cool and abstract. I think it was fine before they printed the Cascade spell, but now that they have, it just doesn't feel good anymore. So just a little too easy to assemble. We're going to hit our opponent. Fortunately, we're missing a lot of our pieces. I'm going to play Snoop and pass the turn. Opponent's gaining life, that's fine. I'll play a Matron, and I think I'll get... Tough call, but I think it's going to be Prospector. Do I want to play it now? No, I don't think so. Now they'll play their 4th mana, and they'll Cascade. Yep. We're gonna hope they hit another trickery with this. They hit Magma Opus, which is one of the better ones, but not an absolute game breaker. Alright, kill our force. Tap our treasure. Get a 4/4. So now on our turn, we're going to play another Snoop and continue to try to make some headway into the deck. At this point, we're just missing a Grumgully. If we can fade one more Cascade, then we could still be in this. There's the recast, the trickery, cast the trickery. Yeah, get those Ugins out of here. So they're playing Ulamog. If they just exile both our creatures, that's pretty bad. But they're going to exile our lands, which is actually a little bit better for us. No blocks there. At this point, I don't need any more black. So I'm going to fetch, get the forest. I'll play this off the top. Okay, okay. Now with Grumgully, I think we're down a mana. Because I can sack any of these guys to play the Grumgully. Okay, what if I do this? Red, green, and then pay with the Snoop. So this is a tricky little play. Once you declare it as you're casting it, then you're all good. Okay, so now we've got infinite mana. Yeah, now we're going off. We did it, folks. We beat the Cascade deck. Oop. Cancel. Let's not sack our win condition. That would be unfortunate. And opponent knows what's up. They see that we've got infinite mana, and being a good sport, they conceded. Prevent us from going through all those clicks. Very nice of them. Appreciate it. And we got ourselves a win. Very nice. On to the next round. Back for another round, and we've got a pretty nice looking hand here. Putrid Goblin, Conspicuous Snoop. We're going to lead with Wily Goblin. Find some of our pieces. Yeah, looking pretty nice. We'll keep. Looks like we're up against one of the life gain decks. I'm going to lead with a Fabled Passage, since the rest of my lands come into play untapped. We're going to get a mountain with this. Got the rest of our colors already, so no need to worry too much about it. Get our mountain. They're going to start loading counters onto the speaker. And this is for the most part okay. Usually this is kind of a clock. It's difficult to ignore. But we just don't mind it too much as our deck can kind of just go off through it. So let's play a Wily Goblin. Get that going. And we're just looking for one of our sacrifice pieces. Not going to block. I can prevent more damage later. Okay, they're going to play the bishop. They are stuck on land, so that's something. I like seeing Collected Company here. I am going to get a green source. And I think I'll just pass as it sits. Yep, they're going to just keep loading up there, and that's fine. I'll keep taking my medicine for now. They do get to start pumping out angels, but that should be okay. And we're kind of just hoping we can go off this turn. We get Grumgully and Wily Goblin. So we're going to have 5 mana next turn. There's that dork. So let's look for a Goblin card. It's going to be Prospector. Get our Prospector. Play it. And we sack a Wily Goblin. Apologies if you can hear the thunder in the background. It is coming down, in fact. Auto pay. Now we've got infinite mana. And actually, it looks like the Dark Dweller is going to put in some work here. We've got our Snoop. So we'll make a couple red. Play Dark Dweller. Sack. Exile. Sack. And exile. Top card. At this point, yeah, Battlecry Goblin, that's the one. And they see it, they see the combo, and they're done. Ooh. We're doing pretty good so far. I've been more impressed with this than I thought, given our opponent was stuck on 2 lands. If they had some angels, maybe their clock could have been a little bit faster. But again, also not that much faster. They were in line to kill us probably in about 2 turns from now. If they had a 3-mana angel, that would have probably been better this turn. They could have gained 4. If they had the angel that makes angels, that might have got there. But we went off very fast this game. This is a turn 4 win. Yeah, it's hard to get much faster than that in historic format. Let's go to the next round. Back for another round. Here we've got a hand that's not super exciting, but it is a keeper just on the back of Collected Company. Yeah, pretty much I'll just be looking to get a black source with this Fabled Passage, play out some cards, hope that Collected Company is enough to let us combo off. Well, let's see what the opponent's got. They're on a mulligan, so that could mean Cascade, or they just drew something, you know. Given we drew the Blight Step pathway, I think I'm actually just going to lead with the Stomping Grounds. That way we can just fetch Passage whenever we need to down the line. I do believe the Cascade deck does play Steam Vents. And the longer they take to do anything, the more likely it is that they are Cascade. They do play Magma Opus too, but so we're either still Control or Cascade here. Given what, if I'm assuming they're Cascade, I think I'm going to just play out a Battlecry Goblin. Yeah, definitely the best hands out of Cascade are the. This definitely confirms that they are Cascade. I think only those decks play World Tree, but yeah, the best starts you can get out of those decks are Magma Opus into a Cascade on turn 3. All likelihood, this one's not going to be a win. They should have a Cascade now, otherwise they wouldn't have kept 6. Opponent tanking on their turn a bit. Not sure if that means they don't have the Cascader, or they're just getting up and getting a drink. Okay, there's the Cascade. Trickery. Counters the throws. should be countering the throws. Might be our opponent's first time playing the deck or something, or they've got a bad internet connection. I think we could beat a Magma Opus if that's what they end up casting. Of course, we're hoping that they cast another Trickery. Might be able to beat an Ultimatum if they just get a bunch of lands, but not enough lands to cast another Throws. They did exile Tybalt's Trickery, yep. That looks like they're back, so they cast the Trickery, mill some stuff, get those Ugins out of here. And Kioribes the Sea God is not one that's too bad for us. We still do have the potential to combo off here, so I'm going to pay 2 life and hit the company right away. Hope that we can get something going here. So I hit a Matron, which unfortunately isn't going to be enough right now. I will take it and put it out there. And I will search for Grumgully. Pass the turn. I don't mind if they just tap my lands down. I guess I wouldn't want them to destroy my Skirk Prospector at this point. They're going to Cascade again here. We kind of need a whiff on this one. This was a pretty good whiff the first time. I can beat an 8/8 Kraken okay. But here comes the second Trickery, counters the throws. Get that Ugin out of here. Unfortunately, this Ugin is going to come in and wipe our board. Oh, they're just doing 3 to me. I think our opponent might be underestimating us here a little bit. So now I just play my Grumgully and start sacking goblins. And that should do it. Not sure what happened. I think opponent just must not have thought I could combo off. I think one of the benefits of this deck is that people don't really know that it's a thing. They see goblins and they kind of assume that Muxus is the best thing I can do, but let me tell you, I've got other tricks up my sleeve. Just keep sacking, make more mana, play more goblins. They took a while with their combo, so I don't feel too bad taking some time with this one. This is a deck that you have to have a lot of patience for clicking on. I'm going to go up to 10 mana here, I think. That'll be plenty. We've got 8, 9. There's 10. And actually, let's just do one more for good measure and put out our Putrid Goblin. Auto pay. Activate. 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 Send in the goblins. All at you. Still you. Here, they can block if they want to, and they do. And we'll knock them out. Yeah, if opponent had just -3'd, I think we would have been out of this one. So definitely surprising to see that. think maybe they didn't want to get rid of their Kraken token, but if they had done that, we would have lost our Prospector and would not have had a proper way to get another one. Wouldn't have had... Yeah, just wouldn't have had the combo pieces to keep going if that was the case. So, I think we got away with one here a little bit, but you know, that's fine. We're playing Putrid combo. We'll take it. On to the next round. Round number 5 here, and we've got a pretty nice hand. We're going to be going Skirk Prospector into Wily Goblin, Grumgully, hopefully combo off, and yeah, it looks pretty good. We'll lead with our Stomping Grounds, put out our Skirk Prospector. Pass the turn. Looks like opponent's on Elves. Elves we don't mind too much. Here I'm going to not take the 2 damage because I don't really need to. Get out our Wily Goblin, pass the turn. Only the wiliest of goblins here. Llanowar Elves, so that's not too bad. The only thing I don't really want to see is a Elvish Archdruid. So they'll pass the turn. I don't hate seeing Conspicuous Snoop either. That'll help us get through the deck in a nice way. But that said, I think I am still just going to lead with Grumgully here. Do I want to play a Snoop? So I'm only missing 1 card at this point, so I think this is a pretty good argument for playing the Snoop now. If I get the Putrid Goblin on top next turn, I can hopefully get through a lot of my deck. So there's the Battlecry Goblin. Not quite what we're looking for right now, but not too bad either. Opponent has a lot of mana. Looks like right now they're up to 5 total, possibly more if they get another creature out for Jaspera Sentinel. Elves play another creature? Never heard of it. Collected Company. Okay. Probably get some Lords off of this. Still kind of want to avoid Elvish Archdruid over anything else. Something like Elvish Archdruid plus a big old pumper would be the worst thing we can get. This is close to a big old pumper, so with this, now they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think they've got 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So next turn, we lose the game. So we better combo off right now then, right? Is that enough? Does that do it? So if I play the Matron, I sack it, Putrid Goblin, Battlecry Goblin, Wily Goblin. I think that does it. Okay, let's jam it. I would love to look for a Goblin card. Putrid Goblin. Pay 2. Skirk is going to sack that Goblin. Now, we have exactly 4, 5, 6 attackers, so that's enough. Sack, sack. Goblin comes back. We'll keep sacking. And we'll get out our Battlecry Goblin. Keep sacking. Make sure to sack the right Goblin. Putrid will always go to the end of the line. So we're going to get a 1-1 and a 2-2 through. So if I activate 10 times, that should be plenty. We're going to do this all before blockers, of course, because we want the Putrid Goblin to be one of the attackers. Doesn't really matter too much, but... Since we've got 5 attackers, it doesn't really make a difference. Nobody over there has lifelink, just checking. We're roping a little bit at this point, but that's okay. It's gonna not take that long to get to the rest of our mana here. And then once we start doing other things, that's fine. We've got a timeout built up too, so no big deal. The animation takes longer than the actual clicking here. So let's just do this one more time. Battle cry, activate. Activate. It's going to give us a lot of our rope back doing this. Activate. 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 Oh, you know we're activating. You know we're activating. One more time for good measure. Then we've got 6 attackers. The lowest we've got is 12. Plus our bonus goblin coming in, and that's enough. Stole this one. Opponent's probably thinking, wow, they really stole this one. You know, goblins versus elves, the tale is old as time. And we're all just trying to go off on turn 4, you know? Even if this wasn't lethal, they actually have to block with all of their creatures anyways. Which is going to take away all their mana. But yeah, it's super lethal. Pass to damage. And we got him. Stole another game. Look at these goblins. Just stealing games left and right. It's wonderful, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what. So, what did we learn about our Putrid combo today? Well, it didn't really live up to its name. I think the deck went 4-1, which is pretty darn good, and definitely better than I really expected it to. Dark Dweller came in clutch for us. I didn't think this card was going to put in the work, but it definitely won us a game there. It's nice to have just one more low mana way to go off with infinite mana. So infinite draw still turns out is pretty good. I think the biggest thing you can say about this deck is that nobody really knows what's coming with it. You see a Goblin deck in the queues on Magic Arena, and you pretty much think that they're an all-in Muxus Goblin Grandee deck. But this deck can really... It wins the game on either turn 4 or 5 if you don't mess with it, and people don't seem to be messing with it right now. We have gotten a little lucky with our matchups. I think Control would be almost impossible to beat. You know, if they just zap one of our guys at the right time or counter a spell. I think that's the one thing that might give you an okay matchup against Control is that they don't know that I'm gonna combo off on turn 4, so they might feel a little bit less bad about tapping out early, saving up their counter spells for the Muxus that isn't coming, and then just end up getting comboed out with Putrid Goblins. But yeah, I think deck showed a lot of promise. I think there's definitely edits that could be made. It feels like the mana base could be a little bit better here, but very pleased with the results. And yeah, hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.